Today I have for you a Kiriko guide that will help you reach your desired rank, whether that's Diamond, Masters, or even Champion. And if you think I helped you out by the end of this video, don't be shy to leave a subscribe. But with that being said, let's hop right into it. Alright, our first category will be the settings. You're going to want to turn this healing setting off so you're not stuck in the healing animation and you can easily transition to damage, because some of your teammates might not even need to be fully healed sometimes. They just might need a little. Then we're going to turn the swift step sends to 100 so you don't have to be as accurate when looking to TP to someone. Then for the auto wall climb, I'm going to say it's going to be purely preference. I leave it off because I'm just used to that when I used to play Hanzo. Now moving on to one of Kiriko's most defining traits, her kunai. One of her traditional bread and butters is a healing bar and a kunai. You're going to notice when completing a healing bar and a kunai, you don't lose any out on any healing. I mean, you're going to be doing just as much if you decide to hold down the healing bar. But if you just try to mix it up with 2 kunais in the healing bar, you might lose out on a little bit of healing, but it won't be slowed down by that much. I recommend this for most of the time, as usually your engagements, you'll have a really good healer side by side, or you won't be in a scenario where you need to focus on just healing. And it's really good to help build up your ultimate. Also, for landing more headshots, as you're going to mostly want to do with Kiriko, keep your cursor head height level. I know a lot of people feel like all those pro Kiriko clips are just flicking, but most of the time, most of her headshots are just going to come from good cursor placement. And even with the latest patch of Season 12, bringing Kiriko's headshot damage down to, what is it, like 1.5? And also raising the damage with body shots, still your overall objective is to aim for the head, as it's going to do more damage, but now you're getting benefiting more for body shots. And also general aiming tip, just for better flicks. This is more of like an aiming tip than a Kiriko only tip. When going for flicks, try to keep your arms less tense when flicking at the initial lock-on point. So what you're going to want to do, instead of just like throwing your mouse across your pad and then locking it stiff to try to land on a target, try having your arm be less tense so you can better reposition or micro adjust if the character's, strafing really well. Now moving on to Susu. This can make or break most Kiriko players. This is arguably the most important thing in your kit, and how you use it is going to really define you as a player. Now, there's the basic properties of this. It can make teammates unpinnable, so like Ryan Slam or Dash or Doomfist Punch. Those characters can go fly right through your characters. Taking negative effects like anti-hack or sleep, or even Discord, removing those properties are always going to be a good thing to use it for. But timing for this ability is going to be very important. Most enemies will try to bait it out, and the higher the ranks you try to climb, the harder it is going to be to save the Suzu. But used in the right time, most of the time will have big game-changing effects. And just for a little bonus tip when it comes to using your Suzu, I recommend saving it for something that only you can do with your Suzu, right? Now, as a Kiriko player, when climbing the ranks, I had a bad problem with just saving it for any time my main tank was about to die, which sometimes could be good, right? But sometimes it wasn't, because and every time I say Reinhardt got out of position, right? And he just felt comfortable playing that way because he always knew I was gonna be right there with my Suzu. But in reality, anytime I would use it in that position or that gameplay, the Junker King would just ult right through my team. Right through my team as soon as I would throw my Suzu down, because I just had poor timing. How I see it using Suzu, I would recommend only keeping it for situations that only you can handle. Now, Ryan could have survived through playing better positioning, and sometimes as a healer, that's just not your fault. Now we have Kiriko's healing, her Fudas, or healing tags, because I don't feel like I'm saying the right name for her. Healing tags are projectile based, so meaning they can't go through shields, they can be eaten up by Diva, and even be canceled out by Winston's bubble. So make sure when you're healing to either be on the target or yelling at them through comms to get out of the shield. She has 2 types of healings, or Fudas. The blue and the yellows. The blues will heal anyone in the direction. I know some people think they just won't heal at all if they're not yellow, but from a distance, they'll just heal whoever walks in their path. The yellow ones are tracked on and will only be single targeted, so only one person will be receiving the healing for those Afudas. And the Afudas have a decent amount of travel time the further you are, so if you're positioned way in the back and your tank is like dying and begging, and sometimes you could have healed him, you're like, why didn't he survive? It's probably because the travel time, or you just overall weren't close enough. Now we have one of Kiriko's most fun abilities, Swift Step. Often good for just teleporting or catching up with the team and getting back into position after, maybe being out of position and dying early. The ability can also negate effects, so same thing like Suzu, anti, discord, all that good stuff. It can also avoid tracer bomb, so if you're stuck with one, swift stepping out will often get it off of you. You also can avoid diva bomb with it, timed properly. A good thing just to keep in mind, it's like your own mini Suzu, but timing is just a little harder. Also, swift stepping to teammates that may be out of position, whether you're helping out a main tank or a DPS on the flank. Make sure it's a 1v1 or at least a 2v2. You never want to swift step to a teammate who's in a 1v5 and just end up adding to the stagger. It's also good for starting out some of the rounds if you're really comfortable with trying to flank, being positioned by the enemy spawn, building up your ultimate a little bit earlier, or if you're skilled enough, getting a pick so the first team fight is basically a guaranteed win. Now, some things to look out for when using Kiriko's ultimate. Make sure, obviously enough, the path is clear. Sometimes when it looks like it's clear, it's often not. It can't go over ground, so it won't be able to go overly stair position from a low ground, but oddly enough, it will drop from a high ground and still clear the path no matter how high you are up. It's often good for helping your teammates build ult, so say like you got your ult before anyone else in the team, and everyone's like 70 or 80%. Just laying it out to help the team fight start out, even get some picks, will often lead to 30 and 40% often being built really quickly amongst your teammates because all that added attack speed and damage you're putting out. Also, while ulting, it is also good to focus not just on healing. I know a lot of Kirikos just like to sit there and hold their healing because it's a lot faster, but adding your kunai damage, especially with the body damage this season, you will help clear a lot of people out fast, surprisingly enough. Kiriko is one of those supports where her damage is just very surprising and out of the blue most of the times. Now finally at the last segment of the video, positioning. Now mostly for Kiriko, it will be play by play since she's so versatile with all her abilities. And these are just some general guidelines to help you think better in the moment. So if flankers are on the prowl, you're going to want to challenge them in the back to look up to help your support. With the damage given to you, you are a nasty threat. Don't get me wrong, you are a nasty threat. And with the body shots being increased, even if you're not hitting headies, you're going to be a great help. If your tank is being heavy countered, like someone like Ball or Doom, you're going to look to play near them with Suzu most of the time like that. Ball is another good, great tank, depending whose hands it is. But most of the times, in the higher ranks, people are just going to counter them. They're just going to go Mei. They're just going to go Sombra. They're just going to look to put this guy down. But if you can oftentimes help this guy out with Suzu's on ready for him, he will be annoying for the rest of the game. But for most of the time, when it comes to your main positioning in most team comps, you're going to be looking to strafe and look for damage picks in the middle of your team. Keeping the heals up and also staying near with the huge Suzu on any huge crowd controls or huge antis or huge hacks and stuff like that. Now, part of positioning is also flanking, but still again, I highly recommend to leave this only up to very confident, good aiming Kirikos. But if you want to try it out just to build ult early or just to get a good head start into the game, it is also still a good option. But be very, very wary, and only do this if you have swift step available. So yeah, with that all said and done, I hope these tips helped you. Hope it's some new things you heard. You know, me myself, when I used to look up a lot of guides myself, I know it sucks hearing the same things over. So if there's anything I missed, leave it down in the comment section below. You know, I am not getting to making a second video if you guys have some things that I may have left out. And also a reminder with these tips, instant improvements sometimes do come from hearing some of these stuff, but one of the most important factors is putting in the time with these tips, because you're going to get better at the countering the healing bar or stopping the healing bar with the kunai. You're going to get better at the Susu timings. You're going to get better at the positionings. All these things will come with more time. But with that being said, I hope these tips help, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.